Hello all. In this lecture we will see three commands in SQL, that is insert, delete and update commands. So these are the three commands that are used to modify the database. So if we want to modify the database, we can use these three commands: insert, delete and update. So in this lecture we'll see insert, delete and update, and also I'll explain about this referential integrity constraint naming that I have already mentioned in lecture 22. There I forgot to mention about naming of this constraint. Even though I had shown the example, I forgot to say about the naming. So I will explain that also. Then we have a small exercise also. So insert command. So insert command is actually to insert. So insert means if you want to add a row to the table. So if you want to insert a single row, then we can use insert command. So insert command is used to insert a single row, and we must specify the relation name and a list of values for the tuple. So we should specify which is the table and also the set of values in the tuple, and these values should be listed in the same order in which the corresponding attributes were specified in the create table. So we have already created some table, so we have some particular order in that create table. So in that order itself we have to specify the values, then only it will be entered in the corresponding columns. So that is important. So this is an example for that insert into employee. So this is the syntax: insert into values. So insert into the table name employee and values, and this in brackets we are giving the values, whatever values. So this stands for F name, this is middle initial, this is last name, this is SSN, this is date of birth, and this DOB will be in different order, in different format. If it is in Oracle, it is in different format. So then this is address, this is sex, then salary, and this is manager SSN and department number. So this is the insert command. We will see an example. So I have already got that example. So we'll take that example that I have already copied. I'll copy it. So no need to type it and all. So this is an example to insert. So I'll copy this insert thing. So I have to change this thing because I have already inserted this in the table. So I'll simply change some names here, which let it be. The main thing I have to change is the SSN value. So I will change it to something else because it is primary key. So there should not be any repetition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 is there. If I want, I can change the date of birth also. So if you want, you can change the date of birth. So date of birth order is like this: 16 dash NOV. So in Oracle, it is in this format. So you should enter date. So date format in Oracle, it is like this. Okay. So it is date DD then dash MMM. So you should write NOV or JULJAN like that. You have to enter. Then it is address. This is a mail, and this salary also. If you want, you can change. You can change to some other value, and this is manager SS, and let it be like that. So then after that you can run. You can write in small or capital. I have included it in capital letters, small letters. So it is not necessary that you should include like this. So and you can include spaces. Everything can be done here. So it's not a problem here. So you have to insert the values in the same order. Okay. Then if you run this, you can see that it has been inserted. So one row inserted. So one row inserted has come. Now if you want, you can check it whether it has been inserted. You have to use select star. We will learn about the select command later. In the next lecture we will see about this. So select star from employee. So select star from employee. So it will list all the tuples in the relation. So it will list all the tuples in the relation. So you can see the result bottom. So you can see that Rich has been inserted here. Rich K. Marni and the date of birth, everything has been inserted as the last row. So there are 7 rows in it. So similarly, you can insert other elements also. You can see this is another example. If you want, you can insert. So like that, you can insert. Now I will show another example to insert. So there is a second method to insert. So this is the first method we have seen. So insert into employee values. In that order itself, we have to enter. So in certain cases, we can insert like this also, insert into employee. So if we are not entering all the values of all the attributes, we are entering only the not null values. So here first name, last name, department number and SSN are the mandatory, that is not null values. So these 4 values need to be inserted. So we have to specify that or names, and you have to specify the values in the corresponding order itself. So here the order is not important. You can initially first you can include SSN or department number, any order. But whatever order you specify here, the attribute order should be maintained here in the values order also. So this specify explicit attribute names that correspond to the values provided in the insert command. So it is useful if a relation has many attributes, but only a few of those attributes are assigned values in the tuple. So if you are entering only a few values, then you can use this statement. I'll show an example for that. So we have, so this is an example, insert. So I'll copy it here, clear this command. So I'll copy it here. Now you cannot insert, already I've inserted this. I'll change the name, Anubam something. Some name, and you can this is department number, then SSN you have to change because this SSN is already there in the table. So I'll specify another SSN value 3 9. So 9 numbers should be there. So this is the SSN value. So you can insert like this, insert into employee, and you will specify some attributes, and the values should be entered in the same order. Okay, now you can run it. So one row has been inserted. If you want to see that, you can simply use the select the previous command. You can use the select star from employee. So you can use this command to see whether it has been inserted. So you simply run this command. You can see that all the rows that has been inserted. Select star from employee. So you can see that that element is also being inserted. So Anubam. So Anubam has also been inserted here. Anubam has been inserted with only some values. Okay, we are not entering all the values, only the mandatory values have been entered. Okay. So in this way you can enter using insert. So insert into, you have to specify the order, and also only the attributes that will be required will be entered. So that is all about insert. Then I'll show some examples for insert violation. So this is an example for insert violation because we are entering only first name, last name, SSN and department number. There will be violation, department number 2. If we enter department number 2, there will be a violation if we are enforcing that referential integrity constraint. So if we are entering that constraint, in my table, in our table we have designed, we have not enforced that constraint. So using that check clause and all, we can enforce that constraint. That is, actually in the department table, we have entered only department number 1, 4 and 5. Only 3 departments are there. So department number 2 is not there. So if you try to enter an employee into department number, it will be a violation for that referential integrity constraint if you have enforced that constraint. I have not enforced in my table, so it won't be an error. But if you have enforced that, then if you try to enter department number 2, then it will be a violation of that constraint, referential integrity constraint. Similarly, if you try to enter an existing SSN value, then also it will be a violation of the key constraint. If you try to enter SSN value, then it will be a same SSN value, then it will be a violation of key constraint. Then this is another violation, F name, last name, department number, because we are not entering SSN. So SSN is the primary key of this employee relation. So we are not entering it. Then if you try to enter like this, it will cause an error there. So it will cause an error. So you should enter the SSN value. So all the not null values should be entered. Otherwise, there will be an insert violation. Some error will be shown. Okay. Next is the delete command. So if you want to delete a row or a set of rows from a table, then you can use this delete command. Okay. So if you want to delete some rows from the table or tuples from the table, then delete command. So it removes tuples from a relation. So this is the syntax for that. Delete from employee. We have to mention the relation name, and we have a where clause where we will specify the condition, where last name equal to Brown. So you can specify any condition here, like birth date equal to or salary greater than 35,000. So based on this condition, it will remove a single row or multiple rows, or it may be zero rows. If there is no last name, if there is no person with last name Brown, then no rows will be deleted. So if there are more than two rows, more than one row with last name Brown, then all those rows will be deleted. Okay. So and if there are multiple rows with the same Brown, then all the rows will be deleted. If you are deleting, if you are saying that salary greater than 1,000, then almost all the rows will be deleted. So whatever where condition, where clause we specify, if that whichever rows satisfies that where condition will be deleted, will be removed. So where clause is to select the tuples to be deleted. So tuples are explicitly deleted from only one table at a time. So we can delete only from one table. So we cannot delete from multiple rows. Then deletion can be propagated to tuples in other relations also. So this deletion can propagate to other relations if we are enforcing that referential triggered actions. So we have already seen the previous lecture, referential triggering. We will be saying set default, set null, or update, like that, on delete, what should be done. So if we are specifying that on delete set null value or on delete set cascade, like that, if we are mentioning those referential integrity constraints or referential triggered actions, then those actions will also be done, or deletions will occur in all those tables also. Okay, so based on that referential triggered actions, we have already mentioned in the previous lecture. So based on this where clause, 0, 1 or several rows can be deleted by a single delete command. So we will see an example. So these are some of the insert example. You can see the insert example. So I have inserted some example. We have already seen these examples. Then this is another insert example with employee we are entering. Then this is another example with the same. Then this is another example we are inserting Arjun. Then we are inserting into department table. This is another example. I am inserting into department with values, all this thing, CSC, and we are not mentioning the manager start date, and we are deleting. So we'll delete, we'll see how to delete. Okay. So we will see an example. So before going into this example, I'll just select and see all the tuples in this table. Then you can do appropriate delete operation. So select star from employee, and if you run this, you can see all the rows in the relation. So based on that, we can select and delete a few rows and see it. Okay. So there is some network issue. It will come. Select star from employee. So you can list all the elements in the table. Okay. Now if you want, you can see all the rows in the table. Now if I'm going to delete, if I want to delete this B, Abu B. Okay, Abu B. So let me do one more thing. I'll perform one more insert here, because here last name is small b. I'll try to insert a capital B also. then we will see the difference. So before going into that, I will insert another employee, Arjun. Okay. So I'll insert another. So there is some error, so we have to wait. So it is now okay. So I will insert a new employee named Arjun, and his last name is capital B. Okay, we will see what is the difference between this capital B and small b. So one row has been inserted here. Now it's okay. Now we have inserted. Now we will check the table. Select star from employee. Okay, so select star from employee. If you run this, then all the rows will be displayed here. So whatever rows that are there will be displayed here. So we can see that we have Abu with last name B and Arjun with last name capital B. So here when you try to delete that where clause, when you specify, it will be important here when you delete. So I'll show how to delete. So I'm trying to delete an employee with last name. So I am trying to delete from employee where last name equal to B. So I am going to delete with last name equal to B. So last name we have one Abu with small b and Arjun with capital B. So this should be deleted. Only Arjun should be deleted. So we'll run this. So if you see this, one row has been deleted. Only one row has been deleted here. Okay, only one row has been deleted here. That Arjun's element has been deleted. You can check the table. Then you can see that only one row will be deleted. Okay. So in this way you can delete. So you can give other commands also to delete. Again, it has some problem. Okay. So this is another example. If you want to enter delete the small letter employee, then you have to use small b. Okay, where last name equal to small b. So, and if you want to delete all the rows from the employee, that is also possible. Okay, there is some problem here. Okay, it is working. So delete from, if you want to delete the small, I'll show the select. So I'll select star from employee, that command, and I will again run it. Just to check which all employees are there in this row. So I am again selecting star from employee, and you can see the result that that employee will be deleted. Just a minute. So it will return the result. So there is some problem with this. Okay, let it be. You can see that. So if you want to delete the capital last name, then it should be capital, and if it is small last name, small should be done. Similarly, you can do other operations also. You can use other. You can specify different things in where command. I will show some more example. So here I am specifying delete from employee where SSN equal to 123. So here only one row will be deleted because SSN is a primary key and you will have only one row. So only one row will be deleted. This is another example. Delete from employee where department number equal to 5. So this means whichever employees who have department number 5, all the rows will be deleted. So if there are 5 employees, then 5 employees will be deleted. Okay. Then this is another example where we are not specifying the where clause. Delete from employee. So what happens is all the rows will be deleted. But the schema, the table will be there. The table will be there. All the attribute, all the table definition will be there. But here the rows, the complete rows will be deleted when you give delete from employee. So this is delete. So if you want to drop the table, if you want to delete the table completely, definition also need to be deleted, then you have to use the drop command which you have studied in the previous lecture. So that is delete. Then we have update command. So update command is to modify some attribute values of one or more selected tuples. So if you want to modify the attribute values of one or more selected tuples, you can change a single row or multiple rows. Here also we have that where clause. Where clause in the update command selects the tuples to be modified from a single relation. So we can modify from a single relation. So based on that where clause, it might be a single row. If we select where in the where clause we are specifying department number, then there will be multiple employees will be selected, and we will be updating all the salary of all the employees. We can update the salary in a single step. So updating a primary key value may propagate to the foreign key values of tuples in other relations. So if you are trying to update the primary key of a relation, then it will affect the foreign key of. So if some other relations or some other tables are referencing this relation, then we have to modify the foreign key of those relations also if we are enforcing that referential integrity constraint. So that is also to be noted. When you do this update on primary key, then it should propagate through the foreign key values of rows in other tables also. So we'll see some examples for this update. So this is an example. So here update set where. So this is a condition. We have update and where, and extra we have a set also. So set is to set the values. So we are updating the project table and we are setting some values, the p location value and department number of project where p number equal to 10. So this is a condition. So we may have only a single, because p number is the primary key of the table. So we will select a single row, and in that row we will be setting this value p location. We will be changing it to Bellare, and p number to 5 will be set. Then this is another example. We are selecting, we are updating the employee table where department number equal to 5. So if there are 5 employees in that department number, all the 5 employees salary will be changed to some value, salary into 1.1. So it is possible. We can multiply that salary into this 1.1 or 1.5. So all the employee salary will be changed. So I have some examples, but okay, it's working now. So so if we want to set update employee birth date, so this is an example. I am setting the birth date, employee birth date, to some other value. Have a department number equal to, you have to put a dash also here. So department number equal to 3. So I am changing a person whose SSN is this one. I am changing the birth date and department number also of that employee. This is another example where I am updating the salary to 1.5 times. Whose SSN value is this? So this all sets a single value. So we have seen how to set multiple values also. Okay, so you can try these examples. So this is the syntax: update set where. Okay, whatever condition you specify in the where, based on that you will select the single row or multiple rows, and we will set those values. We can modify those values of all the attributes. Any number of attribute values can be changed. Then in the previous lecture, this is actually a continuation of the previous lecture. I have shown an example like this. I have only mentioned about the foreign key. So I have mentioned how to specify this triggered action. So on delete, set null, on update cascade. So here we are including another thing. So you can specify constraint like this also. Here we are naming the constraint. Here actually we are naming the constraint mppk, primary key SSN. So later on we can use mppk to check for some constraint. So this naming is needed when we want to specify the constraints that I have already mentioned. If you want to enforce these constraints, we are simply specifying the constraint here. But if we want to enforce this constraint, for example, this is a super key constraint, this is a foreign key constraint. So and we are naming that foreign key constraint to some name. We are giving a name as m super fk. So if you want to enforce that constraint, then we will write it separately, that m super k plus the should not be null, like that we will be giving something. So we can name, so we can name those constraints also. This is how to name those constraints. Okay, so we have to simply mention some name. So this is another naming. We are naming this foreign key constraint. So when we create this table, we can name these constraints. So this is another example. This is a foreign key constraint, and we are naming it so that we can use this name to add some constraint or anything. Or if you want to change that constraint, also we can use this name and change that constraint. So that is why we use this. So in the previous lecture, when I have shown this example, I forgot to say why this naming is that. So we can use this naming like this. So later on, if we want to drop this constraint or we want to change the constraint, we can simply use this name for that. Okay. So this is another example here. We are not specifying that name. Okay. So this is a thing that I forgot in the last lecture. Then there is a small exercise. You can do this. So you simply insert a few employees in the database using the two types of insert commands. We have seen two types. One is full attribute list. We can enter all the values. The second one is you enter only the not null values. So based on that, you try to insert a few, you write a few commands how to insert some values into the employee table. Then try to change the department of any employee from the employee table. You have to modify it. Then insert a new department in the department table. Then insert a new dependent in the dependent table. You can try a few examples. Okay, you simply write or you can run it online. There are some tools, you can run it and see. Then update the employee table. You update, so with the employee table, some rows you can update using some, so use salary into 1.5 or anything. You try some SQL commands, whatever you know, you try this. Then insert three rows in works on relation. Then try to delete some records from the table. You try to delete some records, and also you try to delete the whole rows using delete without specifying the where. Okay, so these are the exercises you can try online, or you try writing these commands, because this is important. So maybe in university or gate you will need to write these commands. So try writing these commands. So thank you.